So, really good match week 10. Some great games in there, some terrific goals. We'll get stuck into the action shortly, but only one home victory on Saturday. That really impressive Burnley performance against Brentford. Some notable away wins for the likes of Arsenal, for Crystal Palace, and for Manchester United. Big pressure game that was at Spurs. On Sunday, the away form continued with Leeds and West Ham coming out on top, and normal service resumed a bit last night, where Wolves managed to win at home against Everton. So, the top of the table, Chelsea lead now by 3 from Liverpool, 5 clear of Manchester City. West Ham up into 4th, Arsenal into the top 6. As for the bottom, still no wins for Norwich and for Newcastle. And now the likes of Aston Villa, Watford and Leeds still looking a little nervously over their shoulders. So Tim Sherwood is with me for the next 90 minutes. Tim, great to see you. But without further ado, we have some breaking news. We've got to get to Tottenham Hotspur's training ground, where Paul Belveston is there for us. Paul, what's happening?
Andy, we were both at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday when the atmosphere couldn't have been more miserable and negative, could it? It is completely turned around right now, judging by the smattering of Spurs fans here at the training ground and the very many who are being very vocal on social media, because Tottenham have their man, Antonio Conte, a serial winner, is now the Tottenham Hotspur manager. He has signed an initial 18-month contract. There's an option to extend at the end of that period. I've got a statement from him as well. He says, "I'm extremely happy to return to coaching and to do so at a Premier League club that has the ambition to be a protagonist again." Tottenham Hotspur has state-of-the-art facilities and one of the best stadiums in the world. "I can't wait to start working to convey to the team and the fans the passion, mentality and determination that have always distinguished me as a player and as a coach." He gives a bit of an explanation as to why this move hasn't happened until now as well, because it looked for all the world like he was going to be the Tottenham manager back in June, July time, well before Nuno Espirito Santo became the boss here. He says, "Last summer our union didn't happen because the end of my relationship with Inter was still too recent and emotionally too involved with the end of the season, so I felt it wasn't yet the right time to return to coaching. But the contagious enthusiasm and determination of Daniel Levy in wanting to entrust me with this task had already hit the mark. Now that the opportunity has returned, I have chosen to take it with great conviction." There's also a comment or two from the managing director, Fabio Paratici. Of course, they worked together extremely successfully at Juventus, where Conte won the Serie A title in each of his 3 seasons, 2 Italian Cups as well. He says, "We are delighted to welcome Antonio to the club. His track record speaks for itself, with vast experience and trophies in both Italy and England. I know firsthand the qualities Antonio can bring to us, having worked so closely with him at Juventus. I look forward to seeing his work with our talented group of players."
Paul, great stuff. Thank you very much for that. Paul Belveston there at Tottenham's training ground. So, Antonio Conte confirmed, Tim, as the new Spurs boss. There he is with the shirt. Your initial thoughts, right, man?
Yeah, I like him. I like his personality. He mentions passion himself there, but if I was to use one word to identify this man, it is about passion. You know, his box office, I think he's got a good character, he's got a fantastic personality. He's demanding of his players and also the staff members around the training ground. You see all of them, including the chairman, Daniel Levy, will be there every single day.
Right.
I think he'll be asking questions of Daniel. Daniel won't be asking questions of Antonio. We know what he's like. Yeah. Proven winner. We've had a proven winner there before, haven't we? Not so long ago in Jose Mourinho. Yeah. Didn't work out. Hopefully it works out for Antonio Conte.
18-month contract. I mean, whether or not there is an option for a further 12 months, we don't know yet. I'm sure that'll all come out in the fullness of time. Surprised at that or not?
No, because he only spends 2-3 years maximum at every club he's ever been at. Okay. You know, the longest time he's ever served as a national team manager. You know, Antonio likes to stay there for a short period. It will be extended. It would only be extended if he's successful. If he's not, then, I mean, he's not gone there. I mean, we saw the vans going in there. I'm sure that was the money for him, you know, just to load up his till, because, I mean, the guy's not short of a few pounds, is he?
I think you're right. I do. I think you're right. Hashtag PL fans, get your messages coming in to Leroy. Leroy, I'm sure you've had plenty already.
We've had so much on this subject. Let's got this one from Junior. He says that Nuno never seemed like a proper fit for for Tottenham. What did he get wrong?
Well, if you're asking me, we just explained there. He never played, I think, his fundamental formation for me, Leroy. And I think if he'd have played three at the back, and I don't think it's not a case, Tim, of not having the players to play that way, because I think Antonio Conte is going to come in and probably do it.
Yeah. I don't think he got anything wrong. I think I didn't like his personality. I think he needs to be a little bit more bubbly. But it's, you know, you don't have to be a clown to be a good manager. You know, I think he is what he is. He's as a Wolves manager, he did very, very well. I blame the people who give him the job in the first place, especially when they're making a statement like we need to get back to attacking, flowing football.
Yeah.
Nuno hasn't played in that style and never will play in that style. But there's no right or wrong ways to play a football match. So it's the people who give him the job in the first place need to look at themselves, take responsibility. It was never a good fit. I agree with the guy there, but I think it's a harsh one, because not harsh that he's been sacked. I think it's inevitable after the performance what we've seen recently. But I think he shouldn't have had a job in the first place.
That's really interesting, because the follow-up question is, you know, you're saying it was never a good fit. And the follow-up question is, so what is the difference in style between Nuno and Antonio Conte?
I think personality, what we're going to see, you're going to see the personality. You're not going to see a passive man on the sidelines. You're going to be someone who's going to be wearing out that technical area, like Diego Simeone, like someone who's demanding. The players will leave nothing on that pitch. There's been a lot of question marks over the Tottenham players. Are they giving everything? Are they trying? There'll be no questions like that on Antonio Conte. And not only that, the good thing for the Tottenham fans out there, he'll be demanding from the chairman, he'll be demanding from the sporting director. And without a doubt, this guy not coming to Tottenham Hotspur not to win anything. He wins everywhere he goes. Now, people will say, yeah, but we could say that about Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho, for me, was coming towards the end. This guy's still got a lot of life in him.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you said that Antonio Conte is demanding. Well, so am I. Make sure you keep those questions coming in using the hashtag PLFans.
Great stuff, Leroy. Thank you for that. Yeah, Tim, so let's focus on the new Tottenham manager now, Antonio Conte. So, first and foremost, you've used words like passion, organisation. Is he the sort of guy that can inject belief back into that Tottenham camp? Because I've seen a dejected Tottenham group over the last few matches, a team that looks flat, very low on confidence. Will he inject that into the club, into the players, or will he just find an 11 that are brave enough to do it?
I think he'll find an 11. He has to have brave players. I think when you change your manager, it's almost turning over the page. So the fans there won't be that negative atmosphere there. It was toxic. You was there, Andy. It was a toxic atmosphere at the weekend.
Wasn't good.
I think now it's a new era, new page. Forget that he was at Chelsea at the rivals. Just all they're worried about is that this guy, at the end of the season, normally you see him with a silverware. You know, he's normally standing there with something in his hands. I think there is a great chance they can win something this year. They're in a quarter-final of the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Play West Ham. The last thing that David Moyes would have wanted was Antonio Conte coming in. That Conference League, Europa Conference League, they can win that. There's only Roma in that competition. They can go on and win that, and that's automatic qualification for Europa League next year. But the next run of games are very, very good games and winnable games. If he wins straight away, and then you know what the confidence breeds, you know, and they get some momentum, who knows? Who knows top four?
And when we just quickly look at his numbers, Tim, there, those his Premier League record at Chelsea, obviously played 76, he won 51 of those, drew 10, lost 15 of them, win percentage 67.1. If I tell you, if you're top 30s with a win percentage, you're doing okay. If you're 40, in the low 40s, you're doing okay. To be up there, look, he had a fantastic group of players.
Yeah.
I don't suppose it's going to be anything like that this time round.
But there wasn't a fantastic group of players when he come in. They were the same group, Andy. I see what you're saying, but they was underachieving. That's why he come to the football club. I mean, he transformed them, and Tottenham need him now to transform them. I don't think the players are as bad as what we're portraying, and certainly not as bad as what the fans are talking about them on social media.
Yep.
These are good players. They've got good players. Not I'm saying world-class players, but we've got a few. But the rest of them are underachieving. If he gets the best out of them, why shouldn't they be challenging for the top four?
What will be interesting, Tim, we know that, or we're going to assume that Antonio Conte is going to play three at the back. If we actually have a look at this back four that operated at the weekend, Tim, so we've got to now, we'll assume that for the purpose of this exercise, that Antonio Conte will go with what he knows. In fact, do you remember, Tim, when he first came into Chelsea, when he first took over at Chelsea, for about 3 games, he kept to 4.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. They went up to Hull and he played a 3.
Yeah.
And from there on, the rest is history. So let's assume he's going to go in there and change things immediately. Who's going to be the winners and losers out of this team?
When he looks at the personnel, I mean, Victor Moses played right.
Moses.
He was a right winger predominantly. He played him as a right wing back, didn't he, in the free? So I think Emerson Royale's got the characteristics to play in a free, and I think Reggie on left back will be the same. So I think for them, they will come into the side. Reggie will come in. I can see Davis playing left of a free. I really can.
Okay.
Azpilicueta was the right back, wasn't he? And he went to the right. I mean, even though he's undersized, pretty much like Davis there. Been a little bit more aggressive than Davis, but Azpilicueta went in and played, didn't he, as a right of a free in that Chelsea side. So possibly look a bit like this with Reggie on coming in at left
I would take
back.
Lo Celso out there, Tim. I don't think Lo Celso would be playing there. I'm just looking for... There he is. There's my man.
Yeah.
There's Reggie on there. So I could see that. You say Ben Davis may be playing there. Emerson Royale, would you see that?
I do.
For the time being?
I do. I mean, he's got Doherty as well, who's with Nuno at Wolves. You know, he's come to Tottenham now. Only played in a free. We saw how many games Nuno played in a free, and Doherty was his right wing back, and he also scored goals from that position.
What about these 2 guys, Højbjerg and Skip? Do you think 2 definite sitters there, or do you think he might be looking for something else? If he was picking one of those to be under threat, would it be Oliver Skip as the younger one?
Possibly. I think if you have one, it's not a criticism, it's an observation of Antonio Conte. He doesn't like young players really too much, certainly ones who have come through the academy, unless they're superstars. Now, this kid's just working his way in
Conte
the
and
game.
Matic when he was in Chelsea.
Yeah.
So a bit more experience, know-how, etc.
And legs and stature. I think he will remain. Højbjerg will remain. Because I think if you give him a definite role, like Jose did, I think under Jose Mourinho, he was the best player Tottenham had.
Yeah.
Now, he's not for me. I think he doesn't pass the ball forward enough, but I think he will be nice and secure. And you can... He's trying to build a tree here, you know, some foundations, and then he can start throwing the decorations on it, and I think it's up at the top end of the field.
Could Dele Alli figure? Do you think he might figure up here instead of Lucas Moura?
I think he'll figure as a 10, but also his job will be, Dele will have to know when to thicken up the midfield, when to drop into that area, where he's been playing in recent times. But he's got to pull his finger out, because otherwise he will not. But if anyone needs someone to demand him and to be on him all the time, it's Dele Alli. Right. And I think he can get the best out of Dele Alli. He could be a goal threat. He can certainly be what we saw with Harry Kane when he was isolated, surrounded by all them Man United players on his own. He could be the one who could burst, playing as a 10. He could burst when the ball's in wide areas and get himself in the box and be that goal threat what we saw years ago.
Yeah, and do we expect him? So if this is a way to go, let's just assume, because obviously there will be lots of permutations. Are they going to be up here, Antonio Conte Spurs side? Are they going to be up here pressing, squeezing, hustling, forcing errors out of the opposition? Or are they going to be somewhere back here, sitting nice and tight, nice and solid, counter-attacking and using these guys and expecting more from Harry Kane?
This way. No way would they be up. No way would they be pressing teams on the edge of the box.
Right.
Unless they're already up there and then they can force their way in. If the team's got good possession, the opposition, they will drop. They will drop and they'll wait for the ball to come over the halfway line. Then the press will be aggressive and it will be together. Every single day on the training field, he'll be working predominantly out of possession, because he will know. Yeah. After a few weeks with these boys, every single day, he'll know the talent here. He will know the talent here. He will know the talent here. But it's all about winning the ball. At the moment, they're the worst team in the league at winning the ball back.
So many of them stats were incredible. And just coming on to yes, you're right. I totally agree with Tim. I think he'll get that 3 at the back. He'll get some harmony there. He'll trust 3 players and he'll probably stick with them for a fair while. Dele Alli, another player that's just, his game has sort of he's become almost insignificant, invisible if you like. Whereas for 2 or 3 years at Spurs, he was so good. He was getting in the box. He was getting on the end of things. And it was with Son. It was with Harry Kane. Why is his game just gone so downhill so quickly?
Well, Dele has to look at himself. Is he doing enough? Is he doing enough in training to continue that development? He's still a young man, you know, but he's had a wasted season, or season and a half now. I think he needs to get back to it. needs to continue to. I'm sure Antonio and the analyst guys will keep showing him videos of when he was good, what he was doing well, what his core to his game is. And for me, it's being the goal threat. It is having the legs, having the energy. He's a great in stature, but he needs to work out of possession. And Antonio will be telling him, you need to graft for the side, and then you'll get the rewards going the other way. I'm sure he can get the best out of Dele Alli. Certainly, he'll be a player he would have been excited about. Because when I'm sure that when Antonio was here the first time around, he would have looked at him and admired him like every manager did, because he was so good.
He was so good. He was. Can £55 million Tanguy Ndombele, can he figure under Antonio Conte? A player that, when I see him, Tim, when he starts games, he can look very good, and yet as soon as a change is made, it's him going off. Can that sort of guy operate under Conte?
First and foremost, he needs to get fitness to be able to play 90, 95 minutes in a football match. At the moment, on the evidence we've seen, he can't. He needs to get back to that. He needs to play in a rhythm to get that fitness. I think he's got the ability to be able to do it. Has he got the mindset to be able to do the dirty stuff in the game, to want to run back as quickly as he runs towards the opposition goal? At the moment, you put question marks on it. But like I say, he might be the one. He might be the one where Antonio really gets into his mindset and says, this is how good you can be. Perhaps tell him stuff what he doesn't necessarily believe himself, Antonio. That's what good managers do.
Yeah.
Tell players what they want to hear, and you maybe spark them into life. And I think possibly he's certainly got the ability to. And I think he will be going through his squad, because there won't be bucket loads of money for him to spend in January.
No.
If he gets rid of Harry Kane, that will be available to him.
Yep.
But I'm sure he's not gone there saying that Harry Kane can leave. I'm sure he's been promised money if Harry Kane stays.
Yeah.
But there will be some redundant players here we might be able to sell. I'm not sure we're going to get their money back for the likes of Ndombele.
No. Interesting. Spurs fans, what do you think about that? Hashtag PL fans. You've got lots of messages coming in about the Antonio Conte appointment. Leroy, what's everyone saying?
Well, I've got this one from Carlos. Says Conte is a great coach, and he's coming in with Tottenham are not under the pressure that Oli is at Man United. But all in all, we await his expertise. And Bungani says, well, Conte's appointment for Spurs is good, but my question is, can he turn Kane's slump around, and will Spurs be able to splash the cash for players that will get them the titles that they long for, Tim?
As ever, we want to hear from you. Hashtag PL fans. Keep all your messages coming into Leroy Rosini. He's waiting patiently for them. Leroy.
Absolutely, look, that breaking news is massive, Andy. We want to hear all your thoughts on that appointment at Tottenham Hotspurs. Will he bring passion, a mentality and a determination to that Spurs side? Is Oli back at the wheel? Man United fans, get in touch. Let us know how you feel. And some great performances, away performances from Arsenal and Palace at the weekend. Get in touch with anything you want to talk about using the hashtag PLFans.
Great stuff, Leroy. Thank you. Get all your messages coming into as quick as you can. Tim, so let's focus a little bit then about Spurs. I've been really surprised at the way Nuno's approached the Tottenham job. It looks like he's been doing it almost with a reluctance. He hasn't really thrown himself at it for me, and I'm sure he's going to have time to reflect on what went wrong there. What's the single uppermost thing you think of when you think about Nuno's time at Spurs?
I think the job was too big for him. I think he's done a brilliant job at Wolves for 2 seasons. He was fantastic. Didn't work out for him last year. He was obviously not the first choice, not the second, perhaps, well down the line. But he's got that opportunity, great opportunity, and I think you're right. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed the way he grasped it. I think Nuno was brought into the football club. Daniel Levy, at the same time he come in, Paratici, the sporting directors, employed this man. Now he's singing the praises of another man after 10 games in the Premier League. That's football. That's the nature of it. The results weren't too bad. 5 wins, 5 defeats in the Premier League. But it was the manner of their defeats and his personality in front of the camera. I'm not sure he inspired anyone. He didn't really inspire me watching him from the outside who wants Tottenham to do well. I'm not sure he inspired the players too much. And it was quite evident in some of their performances. Now, he likes to play free at the back. He's always done that pretty much as a Wolves manager.
Yep.
He didn't do that at Tottenham. Stick to your beliefs. When Daniel Levy comes out and says we want to get back to before they appointed him, get back to playing open attacking football, Nuno was never the man for that.
No.
Nuno is a manager who covers up, gets bodies behind the ball.
Got a real structure to what he did at Wolves.
Absolutely, with that free at the back, and he plays counter attacking football. Now, he was never going to get away with that at Tottenham unless they won on a regular basis, and they didn't do that, unfortunately.
No. When you look at these stats for during Nuno's time at the club and the rankings, Tim, on all these things, like, you know, shots.
Yeah.
They're the worst in the division, or equal worst in the division.
Yeah.
You know, in some, the speed with which they attack. You know, they're the second worst team in the goals scored. Second worst team in the division. I mean, they are. They're kind of indefensible, aren't they? Really.
These numbers, they're relegation numbers.
They are.
Relegation numbers. They're 5 points, Andy. 5 points away from the top 4 in the Premier League. Incredible, really, when you look at that. It's a wonderful opportunity for Antonio Conte to go in there and turn it around there. Because I think there'll be a lot of that playing staff be unrecognisable when Antonio Conte gets his hands on them and demands from that group.
And that one might change, Tim, pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Distance covered per game, they rank at the bottom of the Premier League right now, Spurs.
Yeah.
That will change.
What a manager can't do, he can't give you the stardust. He can't make you technically better. I mean, the younger boys can continue to develop, of course they can. But what Antonio Conte can do is demand that they run. And if they don't run, and if they don't run where he wants them to run, when he wants them to run, he will not play them.